And the next speaker is Lloyd McCall. Lloyd grew up in West Otago on the family farm, and his own farm is dissected into two tributaries of the Pomahaka River, which began his involvement in the Pomahaka Water Care Group. The success led to the development and management of the Otago South River Care Group and Lloyd's involvement with the setting of the Otago Catchment community. So welcome, Lloyd. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Before I start, I think, can we get everybody to stand up, turn around twice and look at me, and I'm going to take a selfie. I'm serious. Up. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, missed. Do it again. You never actually get to see it from this side, so I'm just going to, put on your best smiles, and it'll go into our story. Now I've got my timer here, John, and you're going to get the Pomahaka in 15 minutes. Pal, you ready? Let's go. Start. Kia ora koutou. Te akena te Māori o te wai. Ko tapawai nuku, te monga, ko Pomahaka te awa, ko atakau, kei te taururu tuku taranga wai. Kei konei au, mō te rupu, te aki wai o Pomahaka. Ko Lloyd McCall tuku ingoa. Nā mihi to Matua George, who gives me the confidence to continue with my journey with my reo. Te akena te Māori o te wai, look after the life force of the water. That's the catch cry of the Pomahaka. And I probably need to get us onto the first slide somehow. Oh no, back. Sweet. The Blue Mountains are our mountains, and the Pomahaka is very much our waterway. The West Otago is where I live, and I'm very proud to stand here on behalf of the Pomahaka Water Care Group. The Pomahaka Water Care Group is well known across the country, and it's my pleasure to stand here and share about how we got started, some of our key strategies, and then our next steps or where to from here. But first, we need to recognise our sponsors. First, New Zealand Land Care Trust, who got it all started with the Pathways for the Pomahaka project. New Zealand Fish and Game, who gave us our first external funding. Otago Regional Council, who basically rescued us in our hour of need after much pounding, and provide ongoing project funding. MPI and the Sustainable Farming Fund, Earnsville One, Silver Fern Farms, and more recently Fonterra and the Otago Catchment community, who are keeping us in the game. But by far the most important sponsors of our catchment group are the farmers themselves. It is the buy-in from the farmers that have made this all possible. Our vision simple is for the Pomahaka River having the absolute highest water quality so that future generations can enjoy the river as we have. Absolute highest water quality to us reflects the very best we can get the river for the benefit of our community now and into the future. The Pomahaka is a big beast. It starts up behind Roxburgh. It starts also from up behind Gore, goes through the intensive farmland of West Otago, exiting just into the Great Mata'o, the Clutha River at Balclutha. It's 2,020 square kilometres. It has between 3,000 and 4,500 kilometres of waterways, depending on your definition. There's 340 farmers farming 440 farms. That's interesting. 190 of those farmers are members of our group. I think it's getting closer to 200 now. The catalyst for our project came in 2014. The Otago Regional Council, in their wisdom, had deemed the Pomahaka River to be the most degraded rural waterway in Otago. Sweet. So a project was put together between New Zealand Land Care Trust and ORC to bring together the stakeholders in the river. I went to one of those meetings and found it really quite interesting. The dock person had never ever been on a dairy farm, and I certainly had never heard of the rare Pomahaka galaxid, a mythical species of really a tonga that we've since learnt. Was that one of these meetings that this graph was put up? You got the vertical and the horizontal all going in once in this graph. The horizontal being what the regional council says is good quality water. Sweet. And then you've got the bar graphs, which is saying, this is what our testing says. So, the Heriot burn and the Croxton burn both run through our farm at the confluence of the Pomahaka River. Needless to say, I was horrified. I was dumbfounded, and I sat there looking at the ceiling. Janet was there, she'll vouch. I was silent. Imagine that. Before commenting, the only one who can fix this are the landowners. The only person who can fix this are the people who are living on the river. You guys can't fix it. You fishing games and docks and regional councils, you can't fix it. Only the farmers can fix it. And hence, the Water Care Group was born. That was a moment. You don't know you've got a problem until you know you've got a problem. That became my problem. Well, then there was the famous meeting at the Tapanui Hotel of 6, back then, young farmers. I was one of them. And we got together and they devised a plan. And the plan was a simple plan, which I'll share with you in a minute. But we decided to have a meeting. And we put that there very picture of those waterways in our local newspaper with a very simple message. The river is everyone's responsibility. All of the water in the catchment ends up in the river. All farmers and interested people are urged to attend to come and fix our waterway. I then took the phone off the hook. The result was a farmer meeting with like 80 farmers committing to join the group. Farmers helping farmers. And at that meeting it was made quite clear, we only want people who care for their environment and are willing to invest in their future. We do not want people who only want to do what they have to do to keep on doing what they're doing. We don't want the tyre kickers. We want the doers. That was in 2014. That's even written on there, got that right. Okay, we then became an incorporated society in 2016 and we got our own MPI funding in 2018. Our plan is a simple plan. First of all, we wanted to know what's in the river. We didn't understand or believe the Otago Regional Council information. It was just higgledy-piggledy. So our farmers contributed and we test 30 sites across our tributary, top, bottom and middle of each tributary. We found that the water quality was not linear. There's issues everywhere, all over the place. Everybody had their own individual problems, or each area. So that testing gave ownership not just to me. We've now shared it with the whole community, and the farmers can relate to what's happening close to their property. Most landowners at this stage, it'd be fair to say, were oblivious, like I was, to any such thing as a water quality issue. Number two, part of our subscription was to get a discharge test. Okay, so the farmers they got given a bottle, they went away and got a bit of water from their farm and got it tested. Nobody knew where it was just the farmer's water. They got it tested and got the results back. The results come back and then the phone would go and they'd be blaming the neighbours and the deer and the bush and everything else for the problems. We would then do another round of testing. They'd do 3 tests. They're looking for it. Because what they did, that gave them ownership of their environmental input. That's theirs. Well, I don't know what theirs is, it's theirs. But then with that ownership, they took the responsibility to go out there and fix it. And fix it they did. Tributary meetings, the cornerstone of our whole project. This is where the metal hits the road. Small farmer meetings on tributary to tributary basis, non-confrontational meetings with neighbours discussing common issues. Everybody gets a chance to be heard. The middle picture is a classic picture, one of my favourites, a picture of ageing male farmers. It's not actually from the Pomahaka, this picture, but anyway, it's still pretty cool. Standing around a table, and Craig Simpson is sharing, teaching them all about macroinvertebrate monitoring and awa health. About 5 metres on this side of that group, there's 2 boxes of beer and a barbecue ready to be eaten. And they're standing there learning about waterways because this is new to them. Nobody had pointed out what's in their waterways. So we've changed now from chemical stuff to actually what's living in the waterway because we want to have a living, healthy, working waterway. And the farmers were engrossed by it. Well, I've already left it. Then we go on to creating, the next step was to create awareness. When you come into the Pomahaka, you cannot come into the Pomahaka without seeing one of our signs with clean, simple messages. Your water, your community. Clean water starts with you. Your water, your future. Look after the life force of the water. Our signs have been really well received. And then, in the local press, we're not afraid to front foot issues. We'll be completely open with our public, so they're in on the journey with us. We'll put in there what is good management and what is not good management before other people do it. We'll take ownership of the problem. And then the whole community now knows what good ownership is. That's giving ownership to community. We then started a community nursery, 10 to 15,000 riparian plants grown with help from the local community bodies. There's been over 50,000 returned to the community for community good stuff. There's a small profit to the Water Care Group. We won't deny that. But it's also a lot of work in with the schools. Every school in the area has their little bit of awa that they're looking after. They go there and they plant, they look what's in the water and they plant their plants and they learn about it. Some of our successes. In actual fact, I think the biggest success has been the massive change farmers have made in their management practices for the benefit of the waterways. This change is ongoing, with new techniques being developed on farm by farmers all the time. It's intensive change, just like the butlers were going through in the Taranaki with their hedge cutting. The farmers are creating the technology as we go. We didn't have anybody telling us what to do. And then our water quality testing. We're very proud that over the past 2 years that the main stem of the Pomahaka River has met every criteria set out by the Otago Regional Council Water Plan. And some of those criteria are way stricter than the NES standards, I might add. We've also, if you look on the lower site, unfortunately they've just updated it, but of the 40 readings, there's 3 that are not improving. This is massive. The Pomahaka River has changed. The Pomahaka River is on the improve. You can swim in the Pomahaka River any day you dare to jump in, because it's blimmin' cold quite often. We promoted the installation of farmer-developed and designed wetlands. Simple stuff, not monuments to craziness that cost a fortune, stuff you can build with $500 or a couple of grand. And so we put them in there and then we got the ORC tested them. You can see the results. They are impressive. This was a light bulb moment for me. All of a sudden, E. coli can be managed. We can fix this by using nature to fix nature. These have been tested now by AgriSearch for putting them into the overseer program, etc. Waipihi wetland, another major development, which is a community project, 9 hectare wetland, 5 hectare wet, 4 biodiversity. The whole project is included and the whole community is included, and they will be in the future with boardwalks, so it's going to be open to the public forever. And then May 2020, the Water Care Group applied for and successful in obtaining funding through the $1 billion Jobs for Nature project and Provincial Growth Fund's Regional Development Stimulus. We are planting 102 kilometres of waterways with 230,000 riparian plants on 110 different farms and 328 different planting sites. This is all kept separate from the main Pomahaka Water Care Group. The face of the Pomahaka will be changed forever. This is game-changing stuff for us. And this was only possible because the farmers and the whole community were in the right space to put together a significant shovel-ready project effectively over a long weekend. I take my hat off to the farmers for making this happen. Where to from here? The crossroads. And I'm about a minute behind. The Pomahaka Water Care Group is at the crossroads. We have not had government funding for the facilitation of day-to-day activities for the catchment group for 16 months. The farmers are feeling the pressure of ever-increasing level of regulation and their implementation. There is confusion around unworkable regulations being introduced, while blatantly bad practices are being ignored by regulators. The catchment group space is getting crowded. In Otago, we expect central and regional government to have 12 to 14 full-time roles to complement the existing catchment group facilitators. Really? Complement? I'll leave it to you. Who knows? There has been little dialogue other than that they're coming. There is a perceived threat to the bottom-up approach approach. Our farmers are very proud of the bottom-up approach. Put this all together, is there an enduring role for the catchment group model? If the catchment group model was working, we would be included in the development of the rules so that they work for our area. We would be included in the development of external roles within the catchment so that we can have a team approach. We would be included in the development of the funding models so that they are endurable and sustainable. We would be involved, as the landowners, we would be the first to be engaged with, not the last to be consulted to. The landowners are sick of being told what to do. But there is no use moaning about it. As Te Rata says, just get on and do it. The Pomahaka Water Care Group will survive. The farmers care about the environment. The farmers want to have environmentally sustainable businesses. The farmers enjoy working together to achieve collective outcomes. The farmers like being associated with the Pomahaka Water Care Group. The farmers are very protective of their water quality database. The Water Care Group will continue to support the promotion of good management practice, will provide what's best for our catchment despite the politics of the day. We will always share our story. We'll always include the farmers. We'll always keep the door open to those who wish to engage. Our immediate aim is to secure funding to facilitate the development and implementation of a bottom-up whole-of-catchment management plan. This will be developed by the farmers for the farmers with agreed on-the-ground actions on a tributary-to-tributary basis. Every farmer in the catchment will be given the opportunity to contribute to this plan. This will give ownership of the plan to the landowner with their personal farm environment plans, including the agreed actions and expectations of the collective. We currently have a small pilot plan underway on an at-risk tributary. Thanks to the help of we currently have a pilot plan underway in the at-risk tributary of the Pomahaka, supported by Fonterra and Otago catchment community. This project has been supported by over 90% of the farmers in that tributary. No consultants will be troubled in the building of this plan, other than providing us background information. And after yesterday, I think we will need to include possible climate change mitigations in the building of the plan as well. We are now ready to expand. We will continue to promote the catchment group model as the best way to get on-farm change towards a sustainable environment for our future generations. We believe we will get the best outcomes for the environment. We are all in our place and time. It's not about the destination, it's about enjoying the dance. Toia tū te marae tāne mahuta. Toia tū te marae tongaroa. Toia tū te tangata. If the land is well, if the sea is well, the people will thrive. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Lloyd. Come and stay up here. Yeah. What a remarkable achievement in such a short time.
16 minutes.
Yeah, no, yeah, that as well.